UFC's biggest superstar, Conor McGregor, will be returning to the octagon early next year. The Notorious has recovered speedily from a broken leg injury which he suffered during a trilogy bout with Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 in 2021. McGregor's fast recovery and recent videos have raised a lot of uproar and reactions from top UFC personalities like Joe Rogan, Brendan Schaub, Anthony Smith, and Conor McGregor himself. The Irish fighter has been suspected of using PEDs to enhance his recovery. How true is this? What has McGregor got to say about these accusations? Stay tuned and keep on watching to find out more. Joe Rogan has stated openly that Conor McGregor is most likely using performance-enhancing drugs to aid his recovery. The former two-division champion said this after McGregor released recent photos and videos where he was seen flexing his muscles. The United States Anti-Doping Agency also confirmed that McGregor has been out of the testing pool and is presently not being tested for any prohibited substances. This is something that doesn't happen regularly, especially for active fighters. While on the Joe Rogan Experience show, Rogan said that McGregor's piss would even melt the USADA cup. This is to show the extent at which he has been using PEDs. Rogan went on to enlighten fight fans by revealing that there is a loophole in USADA that allows you to get out of the testing pool. You can get out of the testing pool and just juice up.
Not only that, he's taking his shirt off and he looks like his piss would melt that like it would just like burn a hole right through the bottom of that.
Conor's been going off. That dude has some free time. And I figured, it's the holidays. He's just firing back at people.
The weird thing is that there's a loophole in USADA that allows you to get out of the testing pool. You can just juice up.
Conor McGregor really wants to return to the octagon and he seems ready to do anything to achieve this goal. What is his motivation? Rogan answered this question on his show by saying that it is probably boredom. The longtime analyst reminded the fight community that the Notorious is already rich, so he's not fighting for the money. Rogan said that it is actually difficult for those that have stayed away from fighting for long to resume. No one actually expected the Notorious to be mute after such open accusations from Joe Rogan. Just as we all predicted, the Notorious had a reply for Joe Rogan. McGregor took a shot at Rogan and accused him of using PEDs. In his post, he added side-by-side photos of a shirtless Rogan to show how muscular he was at age 25 compared to 52. Rogan is 55 now.
Shut up, Joe, you little fool, yeah. What are you talking about? What was smashed my knee into his eye socket, yeah? Shake. Take it.
There are lots of speculations that McGregor will resume the octagon during the International Fight Week in July 2023. However, before he would be allowed to fight again, the UFC veteran will have to spend a minimum of 6 months in the USADA program. This is to ensure that he is clean and is not using any PEDs. According to Aaron Bronstetter of TSN Sports, McGregor is the only active fighter on the UFC roster that is yet to be tested by USADA in 2022. Although these reports were dismissed by McGregor's team, it fueled the rumors that the Irishman wasn't totally free from drugs. But how did McGregor escape being tested by USADA? Brendan Schaub recently shed more light on this by claiming that the UFC must have played a major role in ensuring that their top UFC star, Conor McGregor, doesn't get tested by USADA. Former UFC heavyweight Brendan Schaub explained that the US Anti-Doping Agency are employees of the UFC. So it is very easy for the Ultimate Fighting Championship to instruct them not to test Conor or any other guy that they wish to exempt. It's all murky waters, Brendan added. If USADA were an independent body, they would have called Conor McGregor to order.
Just so you know, the USADA works for the UFC. It's not an outside commission like the Nevada Commission or California Commission. They are literally employed by the UFC to do this. So they can say, don't test Conor, don't test this guy, don't test this guy. You know, outside that, do your regular. So it's tough, man.
I think Conor could still do it. The real question for me with Conor is what's going on with his leg. His leg snapped in half, and no one, and I mean no one, in combat sports has had their leg snap in half and come back and been the same or better.
The UFC may grant an exemption to the 6-month written notice. Like VADA and those like legit testing, you can't grant you an exemption to fight earlier. It's all murky waters.
While most fans and fighters alike are saying that McGregor is on drugs, Chael Sonnen has a contrary view. Former UFC fighter Chael Sonnen made it clear on his YouTube channel that he is certain that the Irishman is not on steroids. Sonnen believes strongly that the Irishman is bloated and is not training as much as he should be doing. This isn't muscle. He's bloated. He's not training as much. He's not getting that sweat out, Sonnen said. According to Sonnen, most of his insinuations have always been right in the past, and he is 100% sure that he is right about McGregor this time around.
Why is a guy who's clearly gotten bigger is accused all over the internet, which runs our industry, of being on steroids? He's flexing and beefing out in picture. Why would he get out of the pool? Now, I'll share for you right now, and my eye test is never wrong, 100%. Conor McGregor's not on steroids. Conor McGregor's bloated. He's full of water. He's highly unlikely bench pressing more now than he used to, or doing more pull-ups. This isn't muscle but he's bloated. He's not training as much. He's not getting that sweat out. It's calories in versus calories out. He's safer to just take himself out. He's easier to come back in and wait those 4 months.
The Notorious has recovered considerably and has started proper training in preparation for his UFC comeback in 2023. Brendan Schaub also said that Conor McGregor's use of performance-enhancing drugs to help his leg injury is not a big deal. According to Schaub, the chances of McGregor being on drugs are high. Schaub pointed out that the Notorious is the UFC's cash cow, meaning that the organization would do anything to get him back and healthy. Schaub said that if he were in the same position as the UFC, he would probably do the same thing for McGregor as well. However, Schaub went on to say that he feels other athletes should be given similar privileges. That is, any fighter that is seriously injured can be allowed to step out of the USADA testing and take any drugs to get healed, as far as they remain clean when they decide to fight.
I don't think it's crazy for Anthony Smith and some of the MMA experts or media to say that Conor being on a yacht and not being tested while he's recovering from an injury, one could assume that he's taking PEDs, especially when he's jacked.
And looks massive. I mean, he looks well over 200 pounds right now.
Now, the chance of him being on things are probably pretty good. And I'm not mad at any facet because A, he's not fighting. B, he is the UFC's cash cow. He's their green elephant. I would do the exact same thing off from UFC. I'd say take whatever the hell you got to do to get back and healthy.
Seems weird. And you just need 6 months. Like, if someone had an injury, though, that's a very wise way to approach it, right? Like, what potentially would be good things that you would take if you had a broken bone and you wanted it to heal quicker? If you took time off, say if it was you and you broke your leg and you found out about this USADA loophole, so you would take peptides, you would take growth.
Take all the HGH, whatever it takes to require you to get back to full health, do what you got to do. I don't have a problem with it. And he's not competing. I think athletes in general, if you have an injury of this magnitude, should be allowed. They shouldn't be in the testing protocol because they are going to be taking stuff. Now, doesn't mean it's PEDs, but it's for recovery.
You know, when your bones get snapped and it's a weight-bearing bone, there is a high percentage of never truly recovering.
So it's like, all right, well, I do nothing, just let it heal naturally, which it's never going to be the same. The legs can be weaker. Or I can take some of this stuff and comes back stronger. And then when I fight, I'm clean.
McGregor did not deny the fact that he has not participated in the UFC drug program for a while. He responded to the PES's allegations by stating that he was out of the USADA testing program to simply recover. It is worthy of note that McGregor has never tested positive for a banned substance during his career. The Irish fighter has diligently abided by the rules, and from the look of things, he plans to keep it that way. Those that have reacted more emotionally to the allegations against McGregor are the injured fighters. Anthony Smith happens to be one of them. Smith openly criticized McGregor for his use of performance-enhancing drugs. The remarks made by Smith did not go unnoticed by the Notorious. McGregor responded to Smith by calling him a loser. In McGregor's tweet, he went on to say that he is the most tested fighter all time in combat sport. I give everything to this game. On the Believe You Me podcast, Smith acknowledged the fact that McGregor healed very fast, and the only reason is because he has the privilege of skipping the USADA testing.
It bothers me. Like that he pulled himself out of the USADA pool. There's only one reason you would do that.
Oh, there's
There's only one reason he would do that. He's looking jacked. Keep seeing videos of him flexing in front of mirrors and screaming, and he's huge. He healed really fast. Like anybody who's broken their leg, it's taken a long time, and he's like seemingly pretty healed up. So it just bugs me that he gets to jump out of the pool, juice up on whatever he's juiced on, and then just jump back in the pool and no one's going to say about it. I don't know, it's weird. Bothers.
Like McGregor, Smith is recovering from a severe leg injury suffered in his most recent fight. The light heavyweight suffered a broken ankle in the first round of his UFC 277 meeting with Magomed Ankalaev, and he said his experience and those of others who've suffered broken limbs in the octagon doesn't match up with the Irish star. McGregor didn't really like these statements made by Smith, and he made sure it was obvious in his subsequent tweets. The Notorious warned Smith to stop talking about him and also insinuated that Smith broke his leg by himself in his last fight.
Come here, this one goes out to Anthony Smith, yeah? You know, reports came out your last bout, you broke the leg, right? You're sitting there hobbled over the oak. What was the extent of the injury? There was silence out of your trap on that. So obviously it was a miscalculation. You didn't break your leg, but what was it? Was it a stress fracture? What was the issue, pal? Because you know what that looks like to me, you hobbling out there, was what I experienced pre the break. What I went through in the camp and in training, and had them stress fractures, and they were building up over time, even over fucking years of booting people around, yeah? It built up over time. So keep kicking, pal, until the leg snaps. Until then, strap your leg up and keep going and get back in that cage and kick until the leg fully snaps. And then you'll be at my level, yeah? And then go about what you gotta go about too. I'm a big, bad machine. What can I say? God decided it.
In a follow-up tweet, McGregor seemed to have admitted that he involved USADA in his treatment program, writing, "Everything was fully disclosed before I began." He did not specify what was disclosed or the exact role the anti-doping agency played in the process. Conor also sympathized with Weidman and Anderson Silva, who are suffering from similar injuries as well. McGregor said an upcoming Netflix documentary would detail his comeback from the injury. He is expected to return to the octagon next year against a to-be-determined opponent. Anthony Smith also went on to say that the rules do not apply to Conor McGregor. Smith raised concerns about McGregor's newfound physique, hinting that the former champ used PEDs to bulk up during his hiatus. Lionheart later clarified what he meant during a recent episode of Believe You Me, telling co-host Michael Bisping that McGregor gets unfair treatment from USADA and possibly the UFC. According to Smith, he is ready to do anything legally to heal faster. The problem is that guys like Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman, and himself that have had lots of bad injuries do not have the ability to just step out of the USADA pool, get themselves healed, and then come back with no repercussions. Smith went further to say that McGregor did not break any rules because the rules never applied to him. The rest of them do not have the same options that he has.
I'm not even questioning the reason. I get it. Like all of us who've had injuries, if there's something out there that's not like if there's something out there that could help me heal that I could do legally, totally would. You know what I mean? Because I would heal a lot faster. But it's not even his reasoning that I'm questioning. It's what bugs me and what I said bothered me is like guys like Anderson and guys like Chris Weidman and myself, like, have had lots of bad injuries, and we didn't have the ability to just step out of the USADA pool, get yourself healed, and then come back with no repercussions. That was my issue. Did he break any rules? You're the one who played devil's advocate.
Yep.
You said he's technically not breaking any rules. That's because different rules apply to him. Like I don't have that capability. In the USADA bylaws, the only way that you can get out of the pool is if you're no longer in a contract with the UFC or you retire.
Did Conor McGregor really use performance-enhancing drugs to speed up his recovery process? Do you think it's fair for McGregor to get special privileges? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video.